Alright guys, welcome back. I got another quick training video for you. Today we're going to go over the Gingivectomy Guide. I didn't want to make it real complicated for you, so I just kind of break it down step by step and what you need to do, kind of what the doctor is expecting. This is going to be a 3-step process. Step 1 is going to be kind of going over the digital design part. Step 2 will be the margins and setting up the telescopic crowns, exporting those attachments in order to use for the Gingivectomy Guide. And then step 3 will be the Gingivectomy Guide itself and preparing that and getting that ready for print. So hang out with me. Let's go over it. And if you haven't, like and subscribe. That really helps us out, helps us grow. Hey, how about we leave a comment below and just let me know where you're watching from. That'd be great to kind of see how far we're reaching as a community. So without any further ado, let's just get to the video. Alright, now that we're in Exocad, let me point something out regarding the design. You're going to have to do a digital wax up. And the reason for that is because we're not following any margins. So the doctor wants to do a gingivectomy on all of the upper teeth. So as you can see, here's your tooth structure. And then I raised the gingival on all of these, just using the digital design. I didn't sculpt away on the scan data. All I did was just raise the design to create that raised gingival area. As you can see over here as well, I just raised that up. Some needed more than others. As you can see back here in the posterior, we're not going to raise them real high in the posterior, but on the anteriors, we want to bring these up and kind of normalize these laterals back here in the bicuspids. And obviously, this is not something that we have to worry about on the lingual. Gingivectomies are usually mostly done, if not always, on the facial aspect of the mouth. So for me, it's just my preference. I don't know if you have to do this, but I like to build my model and have it just as a solid piece. And then you will save that out. Either just a normal save and just grab that digital wax up from the file, or you can save it as a mesh, whatever is easiest for you, whichever you prefer. We're going to move on to the next step, which is marking the margins. Alright, so for marking the margins, we're going to have to make a whole new order form, but this time we're going to select primary telescopic crown, your material, and then a pre-op model, because we're going to have to load in that digital wax up. So once you have those 3 things selected, hit OK. And for this case, we have a 2-unit ponic right here, so we're not going to select those, but we're going to select all the teeth that need the gingivectomy done. And then once you have that set up, we can go ahead and hit design. So one important thing we have to remember when marking our margins is when we're creating our crown bottoms, we have to have no cement gap. So you may either have to just set it to 0, or you can use this paintbrush and you can just paint the entire crown bottom area and it will put no cement gap across the whole thing. But we have to remember no cement gap. So when we make those telescopic crowns, it sits flush on the scan. But for example, with our margins, we're going to bring in our digital wax up that we made. So you can see when we mark the margins, we're going to follow where our digital wax up crown is. This is where we designed it. We just pulled it up past the original tooth structure. So we're not going to mark the margin on the original tooth. We're going to mark our margin following our pre-op design. See back here? And then we also want to carry it about halfway down the tooth, because we want to create a window, which you will see in the next step when we're actually making the splint for the Gingivectomy Guide. So you're going to follow the gum tissue, come halfway down onto the tooth, and then cut across. And this whole area is going to be cut out, and it's going to create a window for the doctor to perform that surgery. See, just like that. See how you do that? Cross halfway, come back up, follow your digital wax up design for the margin, come back down, come across, follow your digital wax up for design for the margin, come back down. And it's going to help that your insertion directions are pointing straight at the tooth, because if you were over here and that creates some sort of weird undercut situation, it's going to throw off your crown bottoms. So just make sure your insertion direction arrow is pointing straight at the tooth. You may have to set each one individually in order to accomplish that, but just make sure the green arrow is pointing straight at the tooth. All right, once you get to the primary telescope design phase, you're going to get to this point where you're going to have to extrude the telescopic design. As you can see, I've already done these over here. And I'm going to show you what I did on these 5 back here. So if you zoom in, you'll see all these arrows, and you locate the arrow that is furthest back and on top. So we're going to click it, we're going to hit Control, and we're going to pull it out, just like that. Zoom out a little bit, grab that arrow, hold Control, pull it out. Okay. Same thing, we'll zoom in. There's the front line, and we'll go back to this back line. So it's this arrow here. Control, click, pull it out. Just like that. Finish this out. Grab that one, Control, pull it out. Now once you've done that, we're just going to hit OK. Go to the wizard. We'll hit next, next, next. And once they're merged, now we're going to have to export these as STLs individually so that when we do our gingivectomy guide, we can bring them in. We're going to use them as attachments to cut holes into our gingivectomy guide. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to merge parts, turn them all off. And just to make it easy, we'll just start in numerical order, and we'll just start with number 2. And we will save, export scene as mesh. I've already done it, so we're going to, we can name it tooth number. It's number 2. Just put number 2, save. Yes. Keep default. Then we can turn that one off, come to number 5. Same thing, export scene to mesh, put in number 5, save scene, turn that one off, number 6. So once you've done that to all of them, let's move on to the next step. All right, now when creating the bite splint, we have to make another order form, and this time we're going to choose bite splint and 3D print. And then you also want to check your settings, and you can use these settings right here. We find that these work the best. So you can just have standard, and then make sure you have these settings, and then hit OK, and you'll apply that to every tooth that we're working on. And this time, including the 2-unit ponic area, we're just not going to cut out any windows. So there's no need to leave them out. We're going to have to add that to the bite splint. So you will select those this time as well. And then once you've done that, we can design. So when you get to the design bite splint bottom, we just need to make sure that all of your arrows are pointing, in this case, straight up, but you just want to have your insertion direction set up, looking straight down on the teeth. Then you can either set insertion direction from view or apply, hit OK, and then we will move on to the next step once our crown bottom is designed. Now when you get to the design bite splint top step, you're going to have to draw this margin all the way around, just kind of like just marking a margin on a prep tooth. But we're going to go all the way around, and as you can see, here's my pre-op. This is where the doctor's going to do the gingivectomy, but we also have to add 3 millimeters where our pre-op is, because this will help with the healing process, and we can have good, healthy gum tissue grow back. So you want to draw your margin in this wave, going down in the interproximals, going up over following this tooth structure back into the interproximal, following the tooth structure up. So you just want to do this all the way across, trying to maintain that 3 millimeters above where the doctor plans to have that gingivectomy extended up here. Now this right here, we went straight across because there actually aren't any teeth here. This is just a ponic area. So we just come down, shoot straight across, make sure we give enough for support, and then continue on. And then on the lingual side, we're just going to give good coverage for good support. We're going to go all the way around the bottom, just like that. And then once you have that, you can go ahead and just hit apply. Now in this step, you'll be able to freeform that bite splint so you can really customize the way it looks. If you uncheck keep bottom and boundary fixed, then you can edit the bite splint by using your freeform tools. Kind of smooth out these edges and make it look good, nice and neat. We want to give them a good appliance for their surgery, so we're going to make sure our edges are nice and smooth. No jagged edges. Then we can do the same thing on the lingual. Right here where it's bumpy, we're just going to smooth out and bring this line back and make everything nice and uniform and clean. No jagged edges. Nothing that's going to impinge on the gum tissue and make it uncomfortable for the patient. We want to make everything nice and neat for them, because the more comfortable the patient, the easier the procedure. So once we've done that all the way around and you're happy with it, we can move on to the next step. Okay, now that we're at the end, we still have one more thing, and we have to cut out the windows on the splint using those attachments that we saved. So in order to do that, we have to make sure we're an expert, and we're going to click our splint and make sure we merge and save. So now that it's merged, we're going to edit it now using those attachments that we saved earlier. So you're going to click the splint, right click, and then you're going to freeform merged restoration. And then we're going to go to attachments, hit subtract because we want to create windows, go to the library, go all the way down, load from file, and once you locate where you saved your attachments, you're going to pick one at a time. For some reason, it only likes to do one at a time, so we're going to click number 2. We're going to hit open. We're going to click rotate. Then it's going to apply itself where we saved its position. So now that it's there, we're going to cut on bite splint bottom, and then we're going to allow any changes, and then we're going to hit apply. It's created that window halfway down the tooth and the gingival area matching up with the pre-op. So now that we've done that tooth, we can go back. We can go load file again. Now we'll go to number 5. Open that, hit rotate. Make sure our 2 boxes are checked. Hit apply. Now we have another window. And you're going to do that all the way around. So we'll just come back to here, load from file, hit number 6, open, rotate, apply. Just like that. Okay, so you've gone all the way across. Now you've got all of your windows cut out. And if you notice, you may see some areas like this on your splint where it didn't connect, or if you take off the scan and you look through it, you have all these weird little, I don't even know what you want to call them, distortion. I wouldn't be too concerned about this stuff. It doesn't really print. It should just print out a clean window. But if it doesn't, it shouldn't be too hard for you to just pluck those off. But again, in these interproximal areas, they get pretty small. sometimes not even connecting. So what we want to do is add another attachment in order to connect those areas to add more support. So we're going to make sure we're in our freeform merge restoration again. And we're going to go back to attachments. We're going to have add this time. We're going to choose generic. Come down to parametric design. And we're going to choose the archway micro. In all of these areas where it's really thin, where it looks like it needs some sort of connection, we're going to stick it there. We will extend the height a little bit. And then choose, your mode, your rotate mode. Make sure it's lined up correctly. So we're going to use control and rotate. Make sure we fit it in there pretty evenly, going up and down. Make sure it's filling the space to your liking. We don't want it to push too far because this is where this is going to rest up against the tooth. So we don't want it pushing past this boundary line. So I think right here is good. And then you will hit apply. And now it's part of the scan. And then you can come back to your freeform tool. Choose, let's say, smooth, the tiny brush. And now you can smooth that out and make it blend in with the rest of the design. Just like that. There. So now we have good, thick support, and we maintained our gingival area for the surgical procedure. So we'll do the same thing here. Go back to attachment. Make sure we're on add. We're going to click this front surface so it connects in the right spot. Go back to rotate mode. Maybe look at it from the occlusal view. Use control to rotate. Make sure we're rotated enough. Get the right angle. Use the move mode. Try and move that into the right position. Check this side, make sure we haven't gone past our boundary. And then we will go to apply, back to freeform, sculpt, and then we will smooth out again in order to make it one clean support. And if you need to, you can do it all the way around. I tend to like to do that because I want it to look clean. I want it to look presentable. I want the construction of it to be sound. So I tend to do it on all of these interproximal areas. I mean, you can see the difference it makes from the interproximals being too thin, really jagged, not really uniform and supportive, to once we add those attachments, we have a nice clean construction here, and it's going to be strong enough for the printer and for the functional use during surgery. Once you've done that all the way across, you'll just hit OK and move on. And then once you've done that, that's basically it. Now on this one, I did come down the interproximals a little bit just to give it a little bit of a sharper shape right here in the interproximals. You can. I think a lot of doctors prefer it that way, so you may want to do that on your design. But we've got our support structures here. We got our windows cleaned out, and it's ready to go. So now all you have to do is send it to the printer and send it to the doctor. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you learned something. You were able to take something away from it in order to apply to your designs. And again, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that. It really helps us grow as a channel. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the video, if it helped you out. If you've done gingivectomy guides before, let me know your thoughts. If you're doing something different than what I showed you, let's talk about it. If you want, check out some of my other videos up here. As always, I'll see you in the next design.